Hey everyone, and welcome back to Spill the Tea with Damen B. We have Graham back with us. Woo woo!
Hi, everyone.
And
How is everyone?
look at her nice hair.
Okay, so what happened was I dyed this. Remember, I was talking about I had some gray, which was really
Right.
horrifying to me. And when
Yeah.
I got the haircut, for some reason, it just like all went poof, like it was there. And every time I looked in the mirror, I'd see it like back here, and I was like, oh no, I can't have that. So I actually dyed my hair. So this is my hair. And it
Okay, the
matches
front part.
pretty well to this little attachment, which I love. And I actually wore the other night, um, to just sometimes my husband and I will have just a night at home type thing. And I wore it and he was like, oh, hmm.
Who are you?
I said, who do you want me to be?
Oh my
Oh,
god!
and that's
She's
how that night went.
okay. Okay. So we're gonna talk about art and expressing yourself
Oh,
creatively.
okay. All right. Well, I feel
Eh,
that this is actually part of expressing myself. I've always been a very shy, sort of mousy kid. Like really, but really, like I was always not wanting to be in the forefront or in the whatever. And I
mhm.
feel like some of the things I'm doing now is because I really am just coming into my own. And for girls out there that maybe are feeling the same way, someday it'll come, and all of a sudden, here you are.
One day you'll buy a whole bunch of wigs and they'll have
Yeah,
different names and personalities.
yeah.
So
Exactly. Exactly what's going on.
so what's this
Yeah.
persona called? Who am I talking to right now?
Well, I feel like it's kinda country, like Daisy Duke kinda thing going on, except
Right.
for the short shorts and things. I wouldn't do that, not at this age. Well, maybe here at home I might, but not anyway. Yeah, the shirt and the
Okay.
hair and the kind of the high ponytail is kinda countryish and cute, so maybe
So
a Daisy Duke.
maybe a Contricia because you're
Maybe so.
okay.
Oh.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about art and expressing yourself creatively. So your hair is what makes you creative. But you also do like refurnishing pieces of
Yes. Yeah.
um
So
stuff.
in
Tell
during
us.
COVID, my job, that I was doing stopped. So, um, it wasn't just people who didn't get vaccinated, didn't get to go to work. There were people who did get vaccinated and still their jobs stopped
Yeah.
because of COVID, and mine was one of them. And, so I can never sit still. And I can't even actually, it was in where we used to live. I went to this one class years ago with my neighbor, and we did a little, I think it was a table or something. Anyway, I don't know why I thought of that, well, during COVID, but I was like, "I'm gonna go and do a dresser." Oh, actually, it was when we moved in here. There was a bunch of old furniture in the
Oh, okay.
house. And we moved in here just before COVID. So when COVID hit, I was like, I'm going to take these old dressers, and instead of throwing them out, because dressers are really expensive actually.
Yes, they
And
are.
they were and they weren't the initial dressers that I was doing were just we have a bunch of spare rooms.
Mhm.
So it's not like we were using them. And I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna try and paint these like we did that little class. Well, then that turned into a whole thing, and something that I really want to get back to this summer. And I have a whole shed full of furniture to do.
Damn.
And what you do is you take old furniture. So I think I can turn this and
Yeah.
pull this out here, or even this. This is an old um, thing you'd see at your grandma's door or your mom's,
Oh,
maybe,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
for the mail. Used to be you'd have one for the mail and mail to go and mail to come in and whatever. And you'll find them at the dollar stores or at the secondhand stores for like $1. And what I did, that was just an old wood, ugly. And so you just sand it down, paint it, and these little things on it, I'll just show you, are little like they rub on. They're almost like, you remember those
Like
rub on
stickers.
tattoos?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
or tattoos what you used to put on your skin.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
this is like that, only you rub it on and you rub it onto the paint, and then finally you put a final clear coat application over top. And this I actually have in my I have a dressing room.
Where you get all dolled up.
Right. And in my I have it with all of my sunglasses, my multitudes of sunglasses. I just thought that was the cutest little holder for that.
So
So that's one thing.
to
Mhm.
our Audible listeners, it's she painted it very nice, very white, and then there's dragonflies on it. So it looks like some
Butterflies, male type.
quotes,
Yeah.
flowers, and it looks
Added
really
some
good.
hooks at the bottom. And then I just
Ooh.
hang, so I've made it actually a sunglass holder. So if you're someone who enjoys sunglasses like I do, which
Yeah.
is one of my new things too, um, that might be something for you. And this thing here, this, I just don't want that one to go crashing down. This actually, my grandmother gave me this, who has passed away, and it was wood.
Is that
Um,
gold on it?
it's gold leaf.
That's nice.
Yeah, yeah, and then all the transfers they call them, and on the top.
Transfers. Okay.
So, and the other nice thing about doing this kind of stuff is I just use like old paint, or I'll go into the hardware store, and they, you know how they sell the little paint, like a can of paint somebody's
Yeah.
got
Yeah. Yeah.
and didn't work out, so they have it for $2 or $3. I'll go and buy all those. Like this one here
Okay.
was one of those that just didn't work out for the people. So I've painted this. I painted a huge grandfather clock and then put a peacock design on it, like a
Holy
massive
jeez.
peacock design on it, and it just turned out fabulous, like the gold and the blues and greens. So this, for anybody who's listening, is an old jewelry box, and probably everybody's grandmother had one, or mother. Um, and it's just an old wooden box, and then I've just painted over it, put some gold leaf on it, on some pieces of it. This actually, the little netting was already in there. You just couldn't tell because of the wood. It just sort of drowned that out, the dark color. But
Hmm.
once I cleaned it up and I took all these little handles off, these are all original,
Oh, I would hate to.
and I kind of like it, although I like the bigger furniture a little bit better. I this is a little bit intricate, but
Oh, no,
these.
I meant that taking off the handles. I would
Yeah.
hate doing that. I didn't mean I hate this. I meant
No, but
taking
I
off the
get what you
handles.
mean, like,
Yeah.
even taking these little handles
Oh,
off is a
yeah,
little
yeah,
bit
yeah.
more intricate, and
Yeah.
then I spray painted all those so that they came up really gold again,
Nice.
but with a dresser, it's so much nicer, yeah, because you can take off the
Yeah.
handles, replace them with something a little more modern if you want to,
Yeah.
um, yeah, so I actually like this here, I could buy one of these at a secondhand store for between 5 to $10, and I could sell this now for over 125.
That's insane.
So
That's
there is a little bit of work that goes, but if you enjoy that kind of work, like to me it's almost cathartic, and I enjoy it. So I mean,
nice.
and you can't keep everything. So if you can turn around and sell it for a little profit. But
Yeah.
I was selling, like, I was getting a dining room table because a lot of people don't like the old round wooden dining room table and chair. So I was picking those up for $10 and
Yeah.
selling them for $150 with used paint or old second, paint that somebody didn't want, or I had here already because I painted every room in this house. Um, and then a transfer and a little bit of elbow grease.
You know what's
And
funny? My dining room table is what it
is it
it's
round and wooden?
it's round and what like the
Is
tabletop
that
itself.
coming back in now, or
I just like the style. So my dining room area,
yeah?
because I have these windows, it's like a top of a hexagon almost. So a square wouldn't really fit nicely in there so people could sit. So that's why I got a round one.
Oh,
And
okay.
I just like the style of wood on top, but it has metal poles at the bottom holding it up. And then the chairs are, they have wooden bottom chairs, but they're
Mhm.
material, like to sit on, which is nice. But yeah.
Well, and the nice thing about doing this furniture this way, and it really, once you get onto it, it's quite simple, but you're
Mhm.
also using old wooden furniture that's been put together really, really well. And nowadays, furniture is not like it's throwaway now,
Yeah.
but these are tables, like some of these tables I was painting in like the over the 2 summers, some of them would be 100 years old, 50 years old, and they're still well maintained, well put together. They're just really dated.
Hmm.
So it just gave them a little bit of a new life. Like I did plant stands and side tables, and people like just love them, and we're buying them up like hotcakes.
Yeah, my mom said
Hmm.
that she used to know a lot of people who would pay this guy to make dressers and stuff for them. So that's what they did when I was a baby, and they got one made. And she said it was so expensive, but on top
Hmm.
it's a changing table, and so it
Right.
has like a nice rounding on the top, so the baby can't
Hmm.
fall off, and then
Hmm.
the dressers and stuff underneath. So I've had that forever, and it's at my mom's house. I really want to bring it down actually, so I
Yeah.
can have, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because
So
that kind of furniture is not really made anymore. Like the stuff that
yeah.
people are buying now at Leon's and Struck, I think it's Struck Tube or
Yep,
something.
struck tube, yep.
It's really nice. It looks nice, but it doesn't
It's
last
not
very
well
long.
made.
And yeah, and I have some myself that, I finally got a coffee table from, it was actually your great grandmother's, and we brought it all the way from Ontario here. And
Okay.
I'm gonna actually do something with it this summer too, if I ever find the time again. But that's what I
So
want
where
to do.
where do you find, the transfers, like the images and
Okay,
stuff?
you can go on, actually, they used to only be sold in certain stores, but now you can go on Amazon
Mhm.
and you can find them, like just put in I can't remember the name of them now. You put me on the spot there. Uh
It's okay.
Anyway, if you put in furniture transfers or wall transfers,
Yeah.
they'll pop up, and there's all kinds. Like there's so many different kinds you can do anything. Like I have it all over my walls. I went a little bit crazy, but next I have a huge mirror that I'm going to do. Oh,
I can still see you and hear you.
can you? Okay, sorry.
It's okay.
Anyway, I'm gonna do it. I have a huge. You remember the old oval mirrors that are sitting on a stand?
Yes.
Anyway,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have
yeah.
one of those, right beside me. I keep pointing to it, but you can't see it. And,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, what is going on with this? There you are. Anyway, that's what I'm gonna do next. I don't know what's
Nice.
happening here.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I really like the gold leaf. Like, as you can tell by the painting behind me, I have this
Mhm,
moon and it
mhm,
has like gold accents on it.
mhm.
I saw it and I
That
was like, "Do I want it?"
I actually bought that gold leaf, and I have a whole bunch of it left. I bought it for that, grandfather clock, and
Yeah.
although it looks fantastic, it is kind of, if somebody's gonna start out, don't start out with that. It is kind of a yucky stuff to work with, and you kinda gotta get a grip with it, or use, like, I used it on a great big grandfather clock on the bottom, so it, although I had trouble with it, I was able to make it look pretty good. And then on this, I figured it out, but it kind of takes a little bit to figure out how to use it. But it does work, and you can get that on Amazon too. You can buy, I believe, all the paints now, chalk paint, all of that you can buy on Amazon. Although after doing it, because they do say to use this special chalk paint. I
Mhm.
don't bother with that because I find that it kind of isn't as good as regular paint with a good coating of primer beforehand, which they say with the chalk paint you don't need, but I'm not buying that.
A little insider tip there.
Yes, yes, a little bit of insider if you really want to do it right. But if you just have something, you have in the corner and you want to spruce it up, buy some chalk paint, go nuts. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn. Well,
Yeah.
now you've inspired me. So
Well, if you
my
came to my house, you'd see how inspired I was because it's everywhere. And keep thinking, you know what? I got to sell some of this stuff because sometimes you do it and you're like, oh, I can't get rid of that. Now I can't get rid of it, you know? So thank
Yeah.
goodness I have a big house too.
Well, when you started your business, you were trying to figure out the name, and I was the one who recommended Shab to Fab, which was
Yes.
just such a great name.
Yes.
Honestly,
Yeah, and
ugh,
we're gonna go with Shab to Fab 2.0 coming this
2.0.
spring. Yeah.
Okay.
And the other thing that's great about it is yard sales. So it
Mm.
gives you the license. I literally bought like a SUV and got a hook, like
A
the thing you
trailer, I think?
hook a trailer hook to.
Yeah.
Yeah, a trailer hitch
Yeah.
so that I can go to yard sales by myself and
Oh,
just buy
nice.
whatever I want. So, I mean,
Nice.
if you like yard sales, which I love, I'm crazy about yard sales, then you know what? It gives you all the excuse in the world because then you can do the furniture and sell it. You don't keep it.
Wow. Damn, see, it's a great business. I seen someone who buys and resells couches. Like he'll fix them up or whatever and then resell it for like
Right.
hundreds of
Right.
dollars more. I'm like,
Yes.
smart.
It makes sense. And as I said, all of this furniture, the nice thing is you can say to people, this is gonna last another 100 years compared to what you're gonna go buy at Structube or Leon's or, this table and chairs. They're
Mhm.
gonna be here forever. And now this year I'm doing more of a, um, toned down, not so much the transfers, but the, wooden, tops, like just plain wood, but then the
Yeah.
painted bottoms of the chairs and things. So I think they'll go pretty quickly, and I think I might up the price a little.
See, I would actually like to be an interior designer, I think. Like I have moments where I'm like, I would love to design people houses like with furniture and stuff, but
Mhm.
God, I wanna move out of my apartment. I love my apartment just because it's cheap and it's convenient, but it's not a
Yeah.
lot of space, and so, like, my couch right now, like, I don't have a lot of room, like, if I laid down on the floor this way, it's not even I think it's, like, 5 and 3/4 feet or whatever, 6
Oh, okay.
7 feet. So it's like it wouldn't even fit me laying down. So it's literally like my couch is staring right out the window. Like I would have to get a TV, like a hook or whatever to put a TV on or whatever. So I need a bigger place to
Well,
accessorize.
and you know what? It is all about that, and if you went like in my house, you go to every room, it's sort of different, which some people nowadays everybody wants it pure white, and I like that for other people, but I just couldn't live in it myself. I would be freezing cold all the time if I had a house like that. You know how
Oh
it's
wow.
it's just all white? Like you seen them? I just
I
can't.
don't think so.
I have, and I don't like it. I like
I don't
color. I like a lot of color in the house. I like to see, well, you can tell from behind me. I've got
yeah.
everything going on.
I really like painting, like canvases. I'm not like a great painter, but I love just painting and like just having fun. So my roommates and I, we used to do shrooms. Shout out to them, magic mushrooms,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
so I always had a good trip. Sometimes they didn't have good trips, and
Mm.
anyways, we'd sit on the floor and paint, and we got the wallpaper stuff so you could put painting paper on the walls, like, we would tape it up so we would paint the walls.
Oh, good
Yeah,
idea. Yeah.
and we got really creative. We did, like, an outer space one that was, like, so cool, and yeah, we did different there was, like, an earth with water, and it was
Cool.
so,
Yeah,
like,
that would be
freeing and
kind of
stuff.
fun if you're on mushrooms. That would
Oh,
be
yeah.
yeah. I
We
was
were
saying to you
yeah.
before we started that, last time I dressed up a little bit because last time I was on here, I was, getting over the, effects of some weed gummies, and I was not feeling all that well, and now that I look at myself, I was like, "Holy jumping, you look terrible." But anyway, I think we overdosed on weed. paint gummies. That might have been when I was wearing the wig.
You know, your wig was crooked the whole time. I didn't wanna say anything, but you were looking
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
rough. I just
Yeah, it's a little bit bad.
No.
I'm glad I wasn't painting then. Yeah, I have tried the painting. Like, if you see
Yeah.
behind me there, I don't know if you can see that. Your aunt sent me that little picture there on the
Oh,
wall.
yes.
I find
Yeah,
that
yeah.
she's quite good at it, and I wish she would do more.
Oh, she's
Sorry, I gotta.
amazing at it.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry about that. I just
It's okay.
anyway. Yeah, so she sent me that little picture there, and she's done some very nice ones. Keep trying to do ones. I love the ocean and the water,
Mhm.
but I'm not good. I'm just not good at the sky, like
Oh, okay,
clouds and
okay, yeah.
sun. Um, so I did do one or a couple like winter landscapes, and they're all what is that guy with all the hair? Um,
Uh, Bob
Y
Ross.
yeah, Bob Ross. So, we sat and did Bob Ross, and the winter ones turned out fabulous, but I have tried my hand at 3 or 4, waterscapes.
Yeah.
Not happening. It's just
So
not happening.
for me with paint, I can see the vision in my head of what I want, but I can't
Mhm,
do that on a canvas. I do find the more detail you put in artwork, the better it looks. And that's what I've learned over time is like the small details is what kind of
mhm,
like makes it and shapes it so it looks better
mhm,
than what it
mhm.
is. But what I love now is I'm more a graphic designer, so I love doing stuff on the computer,
Oh,
and
okay.
that's more therapeutic to me, like paint almost. So I just for fun, I have so many like magazine covers I've done or design
Oh,
magazine
wow.
layouts.
Oh, we need to
Yeah.
see those on here. That would be
Yeah.
fun.
Bring
I
those
would
up
like to
one
see
day.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I do because I can create like a what looks good where just more easily doing that. Whereas like, painting a paintbrush like on a canvas, I was like, I don't know how to do that. But
Yeah, yeah. Well, I love, how some people I just think it's fantastic how some people take that talent or that whatever they're doing, and then they make it into their life's work. Like, wouldn't
yeah.
you love to be that person who
Yeah.
loves doing it? It's like a hobby, and yet they're getting paid for it. I just think
I
that's
oh,
fantastic.
I always wanted to take a pottery class, which even in Aurelia, so I my other grandma and I really tried to find one in the surrounding area to do a pottery class. There was
Mhm,
nothing available, and it was such a shame because I really wanted to try it where it's like you're sitting down and then you
mhm.
have that spinning thing, so then you
Yeah, yeah,
mold
yeah.
it up and
Yeah.
down. So that's
I
my
bet
goal
you
is
could
to
find
do.
one, in Toronto for
Yeah, that's my
sure.
goal this year
Yeah.
is to do
Yeah,
one. Yeah.
yeah, well, I think everyone should go out and try, different things and see how do you know if you've never tried, right?
Well,
Like you could
yeah,
be an amazing guitar player and you just don't know it because you've never had a guitar or never picked one
right?
up. You could be a great singer, but you sing in the shower, you think you're all right, but nobody else has ever heard you. It could be
So
anything.
I this is why I really want a boyfriend because there's classes that I wanna take with somebody, but most of them are more romantic stuff. So it's like, um,
You don't
one's
you don't want to go alone.
yeah, but well, no, because you need a part or most of it you
Oh.
want a partner to do it, right? Like you
Mhm.
just wanna have fun.
Mhm.
But there was a glass blowing one that I really wanted, but it was a couple's glass blowing. So
Oh.
they were making
Oh.
hearts of each other's like hands or something.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah,
just like,
yeah.
oh my God, that'd be so cool. And then there's a chocolate making one where it's like
Oh.
you're making chocolates you think your partner would like to like eat that symbolizes your
Well, what
love. And
you
I'm
need
like,
to
what
do
the fuck?
is find a friend that will come with you while you're looking for that special someone. So you need to find a
Right?
friend who will go do that
Mm.
with you. Mhm.
I feel like that
Yeah.
would be so I want to take these classes of glass blowing and chocolate making.
Well,
Oh, and there's oh
I wanna take ballroom dancing, but it's kinda hard to do by yourself.
Well, Your birthday just passed. You should have said that. Was that what you
Mhm,
wanted?
mhm, right, and I would have been
Go wait till
told,
next year.
"No, it's not happening."
There's also a class where it's like carpet making. So you
Oh,
take a design and you trace it out, like you put it on a projector and you
I
trace
know
it.
what that is, on and
Yeah,
rug hooking? Like rug
rug
hooking?
hooking, and then you take the
Yes, I know how
machine.
to do that. Oh, there's a
Yeah, I want to
machine?
do that. Yeah, so it's like
Oh,
it reminds me of a machine gun. So this place has it. So it's like you put the material
oh.
in, da 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 da. It's
Oh,
yeah,
okay. Because it
yeah.
used to be hand hooked,
So you can
like
also do the hand one, but
oh,
then this
okay,
one's a
yeah,
lot faster.
yeah.
And then yeah, you just do it with the material, and then um you
That's
trim
a
it
fun
down a
one. The
tiny.
hand hooking is fun. Like, I did that when I was a kid. My
Hmm.
mom would buy me little they used to come in little kits. I don't know if you can get them anymore, but and you'd follow along the little pattern on the thing, and then you'd have a cute little rug or something for your room, and you made it yourself, like it was, something kinda special, so,
And that you
yeah.
used to knit, right? Or crochet?
I still do. I
Still
am,
do.
like, weird about that. Um Well, I'm probably
Okay.
weird about a lot of things,
Yeah.
but I'm weird about that because I've been doing it since I was a kid as well, and so I find that, like a comfort, like,
Okay.
almost. It's not really so what happened though is I would make blanket like, as I learned how to make crochet afghans, so, throws that you put on your couch,
Yeah.
and I learned that when I was very young. And then I learned so I can sit and watch TV or read a book or whatever, and I can do that at the same time, and my hands are busy. So when I'm dieting, it's an awesome tool, um, that I'm not eating, like, chips.
Yeah.
So, but what happened was then my house fills up with stupid Afghans, and nobody you know what? Everybody loves Afghans, but they don't wanna buy Afghans. They love them and want you to make them one, but they don't wanna pay for them. And quite frankly, now wool is really, really
Expensive.
expensive. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not cheap anymore. So I've kind of cut back because I don't want a bunch in my house and, I don't know, I just find time flies these days and
Well,
I
one of my
don't
other grandmas, they quilt, and
Oh,
quilting is
yes. Yes,
expensive,
she does a
but
fabulous job.
yes, she does an amazing job,
Mhm.
and,
Mhm.
um, we got her what is that? So it's like a ladder to almost climb up
Yeah.
into a right, or something, but it's a
Yeah.
wooden one, and,
A
she
rack, a
hangs
quilt
her
rack.
yeah, her quilt
Yeah,
rack. Yeah, so
yeah,
we got her
yeah.
one of those to hang her quilts on. Oh, and it looks terrific. She's so good at
Aw,
quilting
yeah.
and, like, doing things like that.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
told her, I was like, we should just in your retirement, we should get you quilting things and start selling them or something like
And my grandmother, she used to quilt, and what she would do is they would lay it out on this big like, it was like a table, but it was
yeah.
for quilting specifically, and then in her apartment building, it was a seniors building, so 4 or 5 women would all come together, and they would do 4 or 5 quilts, and they would work on it together so that it would be they would do 4 or 5 in a winter and have something to do every couple of nights, Tuesdays and
Yep.
Thursdays, they'd get together, and the rack would be in one of their homes, one till they did one quilt, and then they'd take the rack to somebody else's, and yeah, I think that's going by the wayside, and, like, I taught my children how to knit and how to crochet, because I think it's sort of someday it might be important again. I don't know, but I think it's a something everyone should know.
Well, I don't think it's a special skill. So, anyhow, I'm just saying that because I suck at it,
Or
but
or do you think I think it's just for girls. For
yeah,
girls. Girls
that's
should
right.
learn that.
It's
Yeah,
a woman's task.
right.
Um,
I
I'm
just
s-
saw a meme today that I thought you would love, and it said, "50 years ago today the first day that a woman could get a credit card without a man's signature.
and I
50
still
years
don't
ago,
think
that's it."
still don't think they should
Yeah, and
have
I was
access to a credit card
exactly.
because they spend so much money. So we had
I was
rules
gonna
in place for a reason.
I was gonna comment, well, my husband probably thinks the same thing now.
Right, because women are impulsive and they go
Well,
off their emotions, so
and I do buy a lot of,
hair extension accessories.
stuff with my
Like,
credit
just look at
card.
all the like, stuff you have, like, okay, so you have
Oh,
your,
and the
like,
makeup too. I love
crocheting.
doing makeup.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, so, Grandma, you have makeup, hair, you're crocheting, you're making all these desks and stuff. Yeah, no wonder yeah, you're broke. You got
Exactly, I have no money, but I have a large credit card debt. Isn't that what they're for?
Yeah. And this is why
And guess what?
women
It's in
should
my
not.
name, so I
Oh my
can rack it up.
right
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So,
So so makeup, how are you coming along with do you have creativity? Do you switch it up?
oh,
Or is it
yes,
just
and
the
I
same?
am like, I'm literally watching tutorials. I always thought I was fairly good at my makeup, but I'm
Yeah.
finding out, no, I wasn't. Mm-mm, mm-mm. Look at this, like, look at this. Mhm.
I know your face is bruised. Did grandpa punch you? I'm just kidding. I know you're like, "Oh, look at me, I look snatched." I'm like, "Well, you look
Yeah,
abused."
you look confused. Imagine. I think I did such a lovely job.
He said, "I'm looking fierce, hunty." And you're like, look at this." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Did someone hit you?"
Did somebody punch you in the face? But I love doing makeup. I do. I think I miss my calling of hair and makeup. Like, I would love to do stuff like that. I could go in and make, like, a do a whole like, a movie set or something. I would love it.
Oh,
I'm crazy about that kind of stuff.
I got tea to spill. So when I used to work for an organization and I was
Mm,
a part of like a publicity team and we had this huge day of a whole bunch of celebrities coming in and we were supposed to have certain like makeup stylists well like we assigned them to certain celebrities and stuff.
mhm.
And this one makeup artist wasn't showing up and
Mm.
they were like, "Damon,
Should've
can you
told me.
call this?" I right? So they were like, "Damon, can you call this person?" And so I called the person and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm almost done getting my hair done." And I'm like, "You were supposed to be here an hour and a half ago." And she's like, "Yeah, sorry, my hair appointment ran long." She was like, "I'll Uber there." And I was just like, "Don't bother. Like, we don't need you anymore. We'll find
Oh,
someone else." Yeah. Oh,
wow.
I was cut. I felt so like cunty. I loved it. I was just like,
Wow.
but I got
Yeah, I think
permission to cut them, so it
oh,
was
you
good.
did? Oh,
Yeah, I
that's
got
good.
permission. Yeah.
You need to get back to a job like that. I think
I
you'd be good
loved
at it.
it. I need to be in
Yeah.
like a job in charge. And I'd be like, no, ain't cutting it, sis. You know, you're cut. You got the chop." Oh, cooking. Another creativity thing is cooking. People love to cook and bake. Another
Now I
woman's task.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, that's why it's all crafty for men to do, like
Yeah.
a hobby for
Yeah.
men. Women just have to cook, you know?
Well, Gordon Ramsay, he's made millions off his
Oh,
hobby. So
of course
yeah.
the man did.
Yeah.
I was taught how to cook. So when I was a kid,
Mhm.
I was literally making roasts, like roast dinners. Now my father, um, he liked potato. You know, you hear that meat, potatoes, vegetable. That's what
Yeah.
he wanted, and he worked in construction, and he worked 80 hours a week. He literally did. So he would come home at night at 6 o'clock. Now, when we were in, I think we were just like grade 6, 7. I don't know how old are you. How old are you then?
Great.
Um,
Probably 11 or 12.
Yeah, so about 11, I think, was my mother actually got a job. She looked after us till we were that age, old enough to look after ourselves, and then she got a full-time job, and she worked 3 to 11, Monday to Friday. So my job then was to come home from school and cook my dad supper, and that had to be meat, potatoes, vegetable every night. So my mother would say, "Okay, tonight you're gonna have," and she would leave out what it
Oh,
was,
okay.
and then I would have to cook it. So I've been cooking for years and years and years, and I don't find it a hobby. And I don't bake at all. I don't like dessert, which is weird. My mother was a crazy baker, and my sister, my half sister, takes after her and my grandmother, and they baked like you would like dream bakers. Like my sister makes cakes like you see in those competitions.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah, it's
Oh,
crazy
I wish
what
you would
she
have got
does.
that.
None of
Jesus.
it. I got 0. Like I have
Oh, I
0
know.
interest in in any type of baking at all. I just ew, I do not want any part of it. And so that for me, though, I think it's a good thing because I probably would weigh like my mother was a very big lady, and I probably that might be why, I think.
That's true. I over COVID, when I gained all this weight, I was making a lot of chocolate cakes. Like I'd get
Yeah.
the box chocolate cake, and then I'd buy a Nutella or chocolate frosting, slather that on. But it was healthy
Oh my
because I added
god.
pomegranate seeds to the middle.
Okay.
And
Okay,
then I put
that's really healthy.
I also put raspberry jam in the middle. So, like, it was sugar. It was
I
sugar.
wish
It
I
was
had a
good.
picture of, my half sister's cakes, 'cause you would be amazed at what she does, and my grandmother and my mother were like that, and so every night we had dessert at our house, and I got to a point where I just didn't want it. Like, I don't to this day. That's how much we had. We had, like, cookies, cakes, everything you can
Oh.
imagine was always in our house, always available, always came after supper. And I just, ugh, don't like it.
Y That's so funny though too because well, when I used to spend nights at your guys' house and stuff, it was you and grandpa would both grandpa used to work nights, right? So he'd be home
Mhm.
during the day, but it's like you would come home from work during the day and then you would make supper and it was meat, potatoes, and a vegetable. So
Yes,
it's like
'cause that's what I know how to cook. So and it turns out that I am actually Métis, like Red
Mhm.
River, Manitoba Métis, and they're, and so I was taught how to cook by my mother, who was taught by her mother, who was from, um that area and part of that world, and that's their cooking is what I was taught. Like a specific way, like the gravy and the meat and the potatoes and the like that kind of is what their whole tradition is. So it's interesting now I look back and I think, well, they were teaching me a part of my heritage and I didn't even know it at the time. So
Damn.
yeah, it kind of
Damn,
all
passed
goes in a
down.
circle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so
It's pretty
cool.
cool.
So, when grandma first told me she was a Métis, I thought it meant a pirate, like a Métis,
Hey,
and I didn't
matey.
get it. Yeah.
Arr.
I was like, "Good for you." I was like,
Yeah,
"So
yeah.
your ancestors were pirates. Cool."
So and that's an interesting hobby to have too, or something to do is to look into your own background. And
Oh, I love it.
as our world continues on, like I call myself a genetic mutt. So you know how there's or a Heinz 57. You know how
Yeah,
there's dogs that are just mixed up with everything.
yeah,
As we go along, like your grandpa, he's completely 100% English,
yeah.
with maybe a small bit of something else, but mostly English. Um, and then my generation has come down, and I don't know what this computer is doing. It keeps going out on my end.
Oh,
Anyway,
no.
my generation comes along, and like I'm Scottish, I'm English, I'm Irish, I'm French, I'm Native, I'm got a little bit of Jewish, like Lord knows where that comes from. So everyone,
Oh,
like I
wow.
think everyone should find those things out and find out what your heritage is because I think it has a lot more to do with you than you think. The other day I was listening. Actually, we moved to a French community when we moved to Nova Scotia. It was all French, and we went to this breakfast type thing, and they had music and
Mhm.
they were playing this fiddle music, and I was like, "Gosh, even though they're singing French, I love that music. Like, I love it."
Well,
and
it's
your
in your
grandpa's like,
roots.
"Right," and then I find out it is. That's exactly, Red River, Manitoba Métis music, and that's why probably I love it.
So, sorry, I was pulling up my 23andMe
Mhm.
ancestry report. So I am 48% French and German. It's probably more German than French because my grandmother's from Germany,
Right.
my other grandmother, and her mom was born there and stuff. And then I'm 44.9% British and Irish. And then I have some European, some broadly Northwestern European. And then I got 1.2% West African in me. So
Wow. See,
I know.
where's that coming from?
Well, I mean, I had 100% last Sunday. Just kidding.
Oh my god!
Woo! Uh, there's a zinger.
There it is.
There it is. Um,
Oh,
but I love
okay.
learning about this kind of stuff. And I created a family tree, which is
Oh.
huge
Oh,
already.
that's awesome. Awesome.
Um, so on the app, oh my god, I'm trying to find it so I can show everybody here. Oh, I can't find it. But it's huge on both sides to the point where 23andMe was like, well, you can't add anymore because it's like I've hit so
Right.
many limits on both
Right.
sides of my
Right.
family. We have too many. Like on my dad's side, my grandfather had 11 brothers and sisters,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
that's the thing, then you get into a
yeah,
lot of,
yeah,
cousins and, like,
oh
your on your, mother's like, your grandpa's
yeah,
father had 12 or 13 brothers and
yeah,
sisters?
that was
Yeah,
nuts. Yeah.
yeah, so
So
that's
then,
it gets a little crazy.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, you know what? That's why I'm like, I'm okay with adopting because we don't need any more of our DNA in the world. Like, it's out there. Like,
There's a
there's
lot of
tons.
it. Yeah.
There's a
Well,
lot.
and when we went to Europe, there like, that was sort of the reasoning behind it, because we did do our, ancestry and looked into it, and there were many places we went,
Mhm.
that and saw that, a lot of my family or his family are never going to see or know about. And there was one story when I was a little girl, my mother would tell me, we actually have a princess in our family. We did. And she was from Scotland and she was kidnapped and she was taken away. Um, and whatever, and I live forever, for years and years thinking about that story and thinking, "Oh, we're royal people," and, I wonder where the royalty is and what happened to her. So I actually figured it out and went on Ancestry and figured out what the story was, and we went to her castle. We went to where she was, where she had been kidnapped, and actually she was kidnapped, but still lived on her own estate,
Well, that's
because
being a
she was
woman.
right, she was a
Yeah.
woman and she had no rights or no say in anything, and,
Yeah.
just another family took over her entire estate from her family,
Oh, damn.
because she was the last woman of that family. Yeah, and she couldn't, of course, own the land herself,
Well,
so
only men can own land,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So,
exactly, and have
I
credit
get it.
cards up
I
until
get it.
50 years ago. Okay?
Okay.
Right.
So, I just thought I love thinking about, like, the past and where everyone has come from. Um, I do wanna go visit Germany too because there's still, like, my great-grandfather, one of his brothers on my Omi side,
Mhm.
they are still living over there. So I was
Oh,
like,
wow. Oh, yeah,
I
that'd be
know.
cool.
But
Yeah.
then it's like, I wouldn't be able to communicate because he only knows German and I only know English. So, I'm
Well,
like,
you can
gotta
figure it
get a
out.
translator, right?
Yeah,
A handshake,
yeah.
a head nod, that's
Or
all you
now with
need.
some Google, you have
Oh,
that
yeah.
Google Translate or whatever, you just talk right into it. I watch that on
Yeah.
not on my shows, on my 90 Day Fiancé shows.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know how people do that. Oh, I would get so annoyed. I'd
Yeah,
be
I would
like,
too.
"No,
I'd be
no."
like, "Learn English, slap, slap."
Yes, well, now you can't do that because,
Oh, right.
women,
Right,
they
right,
have
right, right,
rights.
right.
So,
Right.
like
Okay.
God
All right.
forbid. Anyways,
Okay.
creativity. So we shared a lot of our creative passions and some other ones out
Mhm.
there that we're not particularly good at. But um so yeah, we hope the audience has learned something today about our creative passions and how you can express yourself through hair, makeup, paint, you know, hands-on stuff and other things.
And you ladies get out there and get a credit card.
Well, I'm not gonna condone that, but just kidding.
Bye.